As I was reading in Acts this week, one of the things that I found most compelling and interesting was that whatever we do, no matter how bad it is, that if we ask for forgiveness and repent, that God will always forgive us.
I think one of the most miserable experiences in my life has got to be when I was a little kid and I got the chicken pox. Oh, it was awful. I was itchy and hot and sweating and would be freezing cold, and the whole experience was a nightmare. And you didn't just have it for a day, you had it for like a week or 10 days. It just felt like an eternity. You know, but the sickness element, as bad as it wasn't the worst part. What was by far the worst part was the isolation you had to be in. See, the reason you had to be in isolation is because when you had the chicken pox, it was extremely contagious. So I couldn't be around people or interact with them without them also getting infected with the chicken pox. So it was just the isolation that killed it. And really, it's the isolation that kind of kills the disease too. You keep it out of community long enough that it kind of runs its course and then goes away. You know, at the beginning of Paul's epistle to the church of Colossae, you know, he kind of says the same thing about the gospel. You know, he talks about the gospel being this contagious thing. And he said, once you heard it, you know, I'm paraphrasing, it spread all over the world. What an awesome thing. Man, the gospel, like once you heard it, boom, it spreads. Once you take it in, man, what confidence in the gospel that Paul had. Like I just always kind of read through that part to kind of get to the meat of Colossians. But man, that's probably the most important part. If you miss that front part, you know, you just miss Paul's deep heart for the gospel and just his faith and confidence in the message of Jesus Christ. It's incredible. You know, when Paul says all over the world or all throughout the world, you know, that's a common hyperbole for the gospel spreading throughout the Roman Empire. So the Roman Empire was like the dominant force in the known world. And in Paul's understanding, that was the known world. Everything came and went and traveled through the Roman Empire. It just had such a wide spread of influence and such a wide, you know, reach of dominion. And he was telling his readers, man, in that brief time since Jesus started sharing the good news and passed along to the disciples, who then started spreading it throughout the world, in that short time, it is spread uncontrollably throughout the Roman Empire. Gosh, what an amazing thing. I want the gospel to be that powerful in my life, that I just can't help but be a conduit of the grace and the good news of Jesus Christ. I want to be so devoted to it that, man, when I read it, it sits. And it sits inside of me, and I get right into community, and it just resonates and radiates off of me. That would be so amazing. So if you're ever curious, man, is the gospel, is it really just taken root in who you are? Does it really have a home and dwell in you? Ask yourself this question: are people around me getting infected with the gospel that I believe in?